be starting in verse 13. It says, "Who is wise and understanding among you? Let them show it by their good life, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from the heaven, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where you have the envy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and every evil practice. But with the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness."
Who is wise and understanding among you? Who can you trust? Now, we all like to think, so I have traveled a little bit in my life. I've gone to some places. I've been to Chicago. I've been to the Big Apple. I've traveled to some big global cities. I've been to London. I've been to Mumbai and Delhi in India. I've been to South Africa. I've been to one big city. Johannesburg, right? I've been to Johannesburg. Is that right? Is that true? Or the other one? I don't know. I was one of those two. When you go to big cities, you find something very, very quickly. There are hustlers. There are con men. There are vultures looking for an easy mark. Looking for some naive, sweet, innocent Kansas native who they can take advantage of. I remember I'm in India, people come up to you, brother, you need taxi? You need taxi? And they try to grab your hand and pull you along. And the thing is, you don't go with those people. Not in New York, not in Chicago, not in India. You're getting scammed, and maybe worse. My wife and I went to India for the first time, and we got in a car with someone we did not know in India to drive to a place we'd never been. And I said, if this goes sideways, jump out of the car, tuck and roll, and we run to the embassy. That was our plan. What do you think to ourselves? I know how to spot a false person. I know who to trust and who not to trust. We don't think that we are good judges of character, right? I had a buddy of mine, we were in New York City, and he went to the ATM to get some money because we had to go out early the next day, so we wanted to have cash in pocket. Goes to the ATM, he's coming back to the apartment, and he's walking down the streets of New York, and it's late, it's like midnight. A beautiful woman's walking towards him, and she sees him and looks at him, gives him a look, and he's a young guy, he's 18, 19 years old, and he's like, a pretty girl giving me a look? Well, this is great. And she smiles, he's like looking like, oh, this is for me. She's like, hey, and he's like, hey, because he's not Brad Pitt, he's not used to this kind of attention. So she starts coming right at him, just giving him eyes, giving him looks, giving him sweetness, and he is undone. He's like, please talk to me. He doesn't notice the guy coming across the street at a 9-degree angle. The girl's like, hello. He's like, hello. Then he feels the gun in his side. Give us all your money or you're going to kill you. And he got mugged, and he came and told us all what happened. We're like, the pretty girl, that's the most classic trick in the book, man. You don't see, the girl, like I said, if a pretty girl smiles at me, I know I'm about to get robbed because there's no reason for her to smile at me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's not a normal part of my life. We like to think that we are good judges of character, but I've learned over the last year of life that we are terrible judges of who to trust. You know how I know we're really bad at this? Over the last year, I've watched God-fearing, kind people whom I love. I have seen them give to feed the poor. I've seen them serve their fellow man and woman. And I have watched them be taken in by fools on social media and on YouTube and repeat and spout insane nonsense. But this guy on YouTube, and you're going to base the next decision of your life on some dude in a basement, never been to college, You have no idea who he is. But dude, he said there's Chinese troops in Canada and they're coming down. And we believe it. I have watched good people believe insane things from insane people, and they drink it. My son, when he was younger, in the playground, a kid said, "Open your mouth and close your eyes." Listen, the classic was, put your hand out, close your eyes. You never do that. It's never good. If my wife, maybe my wife, but no one else, if my kid said, "Dad, put your hand up and close your eyes," I'm getting trash. I'm getting like empty chocolate wrappers. We got you. That's what you're gonna get. My son got a mouthful of wood chips, what he got. And I told him, "Son, if someone ever tells you to open up, close your eyes, you never do it." But when it comes to us, we do it all the time. And not just with conspiracy theories and insane politics. I see people meet Jesus and they find these random teachers on the internet, and I have seen people meet Jesus and get led astray by false teachers at a horrifyingly alarming rate. Some random guy in Kansas, some random guy in Idaho, and like he says these weird things, and like, that guy, he's got it. I'm gonna listen to him. We don't know the person. We've not vetted them. We've not asked the question, is this person, do they live a godly life? We don't know anything about them, but we're listening to their teaching as though it's truth. And the people who do love us, whom we can see, you don't get it, man. My Iowa guy, he gets it, but you don't get it. We have no idea who to trust. I want to say horrible, mean things. I gotta calm down because I read this Bible. I gotta do what it says. And it says not to be mean. This is what James said. James starts. Yep. We're in the section of James. Remember, this is the verse we're memorizing together. Okay? James 1:19. Know this, my beloved brothers. Let everyone be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Know this, my beloved brothers. Let everyone be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. And we're in the slow to speak section. And the slow to speak section begins with, in chapter 3, verse 1, it says this: "Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, for you know that we who teach will be judged with greater strictness." Now, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, the principal who did our graduation speech, he told our senior class as we graduated, follow the money. Because my generation, I was the end of Gen X, we wanted to be rich. The millennials want something else. The millennials, the next generation after me, the millennials and the Z, Generation Z, that's what we call them, right? Yes. You know what they want? They want to be famous. They want to have following. So there's YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and a bunch of others I'm too uncool to know. And kids and youth want to be out there and seen and have fans and followers. We want to have a platform. We want to have a voice. And James, in his day and age, there must have been people who wanted to be preachers and teachers, who wanted to be influential. And James says, hey, you guys who say you want to be preachers, you guys who say you want a platform, you people who say you want people to listen, be careful of what you wish for. Because if you become someone who teaches, someone who leads, you are held to a higher standard. I'm a pastor. If I were to fall into the bottle, being abusing alcohol, and my wife came to me, I would not hear her. And the elders came to me, I would not hear them. The deacons come to me, I would not hear them. It would be the church's job not only to fire me, but to bring my sin publicly before the entire church. That's the Bible. That's what it says. Now, if you do that, We don't bring up here and go, this dude messed up. But if you are a leader in God's house and you choose to partake in habitual, repeated sin, God says, it literally says, rebuke them before all, that the young may learn to fear. I'm held to a higher standard because I'm a teacher. James goes, be careful if you want to be a teacher because you're held to a higher standard. Not only should you be weary of being a teacher, he says, be careful who you choose to be your teachers. We go to verse 13. Who is wise and understanding among you? Who should we listen to? Where should we go to get our information? And we all go to people. We all have podcasts or a radio show host or a YouTube personality or a celebrity. We all have people, when they speak, we listen. For some reason, we trust them. I don't know why. Listen, I read Steve Jobs' book about his life. Steve Jobs isn't a good human being. He literally would not admit his daughter was his daughter for the first 27 years of her life. He was a deadbeat dad, and for some reason, I'm like, man, Jobs made up, he created the iPod. That's my man. And if he said it, I listened. I gave him authority over my life because he was techie. And we do the same thing with all kinds of people. But what is true wisdom? What is godly wisdom, and what is earthly wisdom? Who do we listen to, and how do we live a life of wisdom? How do I be a wise person? And I used to think, how do you say? There's two kinds of smarts in the world. There's street smarts and there's book smarts, right? Now, street smarts is when the girl comes at you smiling, you know you're about to get mugged. No joke. In Flint, no joke. I used to office downtown at the Ferris wheel. And I'm there late working, I'm walking towards my car. I tried to park far away because I first went there, the clubs were all open, the bars were all open, so I'm walking far, and a girl starts walking, I see her walking at me, and she does the smile and the wave, and I'm like, I'm gonna get mugged. I have street smarts. I literally, she sees me, she's like, hey, and I'm like, I stop, and I'm go, hey, I point to the guy across the street, I'm like, I see you, and they all run away. It was awesome. It's like, you're not getting me. Like, you're too pretty and you're too dumb. I'm not getting had today. I'm not going down like that. Street smarts. I know what not to do in the city of Flint. That's one kind of smarts. Someone cannot go to school, not have a degree, but know the world, and know, they're street smart, right? Some of you in this room are street smart, not book smart. Then there's book smart. That's the whole, I read books, I know stuff, I'm well-versed, I can quote poetry. It's book smarts, okay? Two kinds of smarts. And each group dislikes the other. The street smart guys think the book smart guys are stupid. And the book smart guys think the street smart guys are stupid, okay? Here's the reality. You can be book smart, street smart, or both, and still be unwise.
Very true.
You can know the rules of the street. You can be well-versed in academia and still not be a wise person. So what is wisdom? How can you be book smart and not wise? How can you be street smart and not wise? James is going to reveal what true wisdom here is. Who is wise and understanding among you? By his good conduct, let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but it's earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every vile practice. Stop right there. We have godly wisdom, heavenly wisdom, wisdom from above, and we have earthly wisdom that is called unspiritual and demonic. So earthly wisdom is marked by bitter jealousy and selfish ambition. Like most of James' teaching, wisdom is revealed not by what you know, but how you live. Wisdom is not revealed merely by what you know. It's revealed by the motives of your heart and the actions of your hands. So, this last Sunday was Super Bowl Sunday. And the game was kind of boring because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ran away with the game. They crushed the Chiefs, much to my chagrin. The game was boring, we're watching it. And then in the fourth quarter, a guy streaked across the field. And I was in a room full of recovering addicts, and we were all like, yeah, go! It was boring, a moment of excitement. So we're all laughing, look at this guy go! We're all laughing, being dumb. Turns out, the guy who streaked that day, who got arrested, he made a $50,000 bet that someone would streak in the Super Bowl. So this guy put 50 grand of his own money saying, I think someone's gonna run across the field buck naked. And then he did it and won his own bet. I've heard people say, man's a genius, right? That's a smart guy right there. That guy's smart. Listen. First of all, they just announced they voided his bet. They voided his bet. He had no money because he cheated, and they took it away. So that's a different story. But we often look at certain kinds of people and say that person is smart, that person is wise, and we exalt. I'll say we exalt selfish ambition and we exalt bitter jealousy. I'll tell you how we do this. I worked for a guy once. I worked for a Christian man. And I worked in an industry where we clean people's houses. And my Christian boss told me, when you go to a house, there were no rates. You'd call, ask for how much it would cost to clean your house. We wouldn't tell you. Oh, we'll send someone out to give you a quote. We'd go to the house. And my Christian manager told me, look at the car in the driveway. Look at the size of the house. And the more you charge them, the more commission you get. So we went there with the intention to take people for a ride, to soak as much money out of them as we could, to take advantage of them. Now, that's a great business model. That is good business. But that is unspiritual wisdom. Taking advantage of people, lying, deceiving people is not of God. Even though that company made money and made lots of it. And I made some money when I worked for those guys, but I was young and I was like, is this okay? Like, I just didn't know. That Christian manager took earthly wisdom and lived by it, and we were wrong. We were wrong to do it. Listen, you know who we admire as intelligent? You ever watch like those political TV shows and guys yell, you know what, I'll go somewhere real. I remember watching 5 years ago the Republican primaries. There was like 10 guys who wanted to be president, like Donald Trump and everybody else. And Trump was better than everybody else at being a big old jerk. And he would dunk on people every single, and I'd watch and I'd laugh every time. It was like watching a rap battle and someone kept on winning every single round. It was like Eminem's up there just wrecking people every single week, and I was there for it. I'm like, he was a bully, he was mean, and it was hilarious. And a lot of us looked at that behavior, we're like, man, he's awesome. Because he's so fast, he's so sharp, he's able to go so fast. That was our guy. That's the world we live in does celebrate those things. That, man, that guy is good at what he does. That's not godly wisdom. If what you're doing is motivated out of selfish ambition, if your wisdom is all about you, you're gonna argue with somebody, you're gonna debate with someone, and all you care about is winning. So you're on Facebook, and let's say you're arguing for Jesus, and you're doing it in a jerky way. You're being mean, insulting, condescending. This text teaches us that the means are just as important as the ends. How you say something is as important as what you say. Do you hear that? How you say something is as important as what you say. You might be right, but if you say something true in a horrible way, you're wrong in God's eyes. That is not godly wisdom. Godly wisdom, it boasts of itself. It's all about itself. I want to show that I'm smart and strong and able. Or maybe I'm jealous. And so I try to show off because I feel so insecure and small around everybody else. Earthly wisdom is marked by bitter jealousy, and it's marked by selfish ambition. We shouldn't be like that. But what is godly wisdom? Verse 17, but the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. Listen, godly wisdom is marked by peace and meekness. Remember, how we say things is as important as what we say. The Christian church, we've lost so much ground with the world because we're using their rules to fight them. If they get mean or nasty on Facebook, what do we do as Christians? We're just as mean and just as ugly right back to them. And guess what? We're losing. We're the ones who know the Christ and are held to the higher standard. I once saw a parent get in a fighting match with their child, 6-year-old kid. The parent was like, child, I'm stressed, give me a minute. And guess what 6-year-old doesn't understand? Anything you just said. 6-year-old just knows, I'm hungry and I want Kraft mac and cheese. Please, daddy. That's all they know. You saying, I can't deal with this, they're like, but I'm hungry. They don't know. And I watched this one guy unload on that kid. I've seen parents and teenagers go to yelling matches in their houses. And guess what? When that happens, well, they yell at me first. If you're the adult, you're more wrong than they are. And if you get some fun with some guy in the world, okay, I once saw a pastor get in a fist fight in the parking lot of a church. And when we brought this guy into the staff meeting to deal with them, he goes, do the first punch. He started it. I'm like, that may be true. But you're a pastor, and the fact that you were yelling in a public place and you lost your cool, they might have called your mama who knows what. You are still the loser because you're held to the higher standard. We are Christians. Godly wisdom. Listen to what it is. It's first pure. Godly wisdom is pure in how it's expressed, which means pure means without a double entendre. You ever say something to someone with a double meaning? You like you're leaving and you want to make someone feel bad. So you say something that's not totally, it's not open warfare, but it's a little jab. That's not pure. That's not pure. Pure is without sarcasm, without irony. It's just my motives are clean. God's wisdom is pure. God's wisdom is peaceable. I'm not trying to stir the pot. And we all know those guys, don't we? The grenade throwers that go to a group of people, and they want to start a big issue. They bring up crazy things. You go into a room, you know the guy in the room's different than you are. You go into a room, and I sit down. I'm terrible. I sit down with the Presbyterians, those guys, and talking about just ministry. And this is back before we got to church. I can't believe they said yes to this. But their guy was like, we want to do ministry together. And like, we're different theologically, that's okay. And I'm like, that's cool, we can do stuff. And he's like, listen, you ever thought about becoming Presbyterian, joining our team? I'm like, joining your team? Oh yeah, Presbyterians, they have a big budget for church planning. Flint City to join us, and then we'll give you money to help your church run. And he said, we'll give you like this much money if you join us. And I was trying to be stupid. He's like, but if you join us, you got to baptize babies because they're Presbyterians. And I'm like, shoot, I'll baptize a goat for $50,000. I don't care. And nobody laughed. Nobody. I'm like, I'm a big jerk. Like, I was trying to be not peaceable. I was throwing a dart going, ha-ha, gotcha. And it got him. And no one liked it. That's not godly wisdom. It made me laugh, but it didn't honor the Lord. Didn't make those guys think I was a good brother. Like, oh man, this guy's a jerk, doesn't like us. It's like, that's not helpful to anyone. God's wisdom is peaceable. Listen, it's gentle. Being mean is funnier than being nice, right? Watch TV. Watch a TV show. The friends in the show are mean and we laugh about it. Being mean on a comedy, if I watch a movie and everyone in the movie is like sweet to each other, you're like, why am I watching this? Like, where's the drama? We watch, dude. And my daughter asked me recently, she's like, Dad, what's a telenovela? So I showed her one, which is a Mexican soap opera. Soap operas are just drama. And we watch it, we're like, oh, no, she didn't. And we just watch it, we love the drama. We watch reality TV, right? The Real Housewives of every American city. We watch all those shows, and we love it. We love the drama, the meanness. But God's wisdom is gentle. How we say things, how we communicate is as important as what we communicate. And you show you have godly wisdom when you talk to people with gentleness, even if they're wrong. My kids are wrong sometimes. If I freak out every time they mess up, they're not going to learn what not to do. They're going to learn to be afraid of their father. Godly wisdom is gentle. It's open to reason, meaning I'll actually listen to someone else's arguments. We have no idea how to do this. The last election was a bunch of people standing around going, I'm talking, you better listen to me. And no one's listening to anybody. We have no idea how to hear any. Listen, I have thoughts. I have beliefs. I have thoughts on immigration and stimulus. But I also know I know very little about those issues. I don't know. So I'm willing to listen and go, I never thought of that. I don't come in the room like, hold on a second. Let's talk. I'm not there to kill someone. I'm willing to be open to reason and hear people. Even theologically. People come to me and go, Pastor, this is in the Bible. And they tell me what they read. Or I'll preach and someone will say, Pastor, I disagree with you. And I'm like, I got 40 hours that says you're wrong. Like I got 2 Bible degrees that tells me I'm going to win this fight. But you know what? Instead of being a jerk, I'm like, Lord, let me be humble and listen. Maybe I can learn something. And I have learned things. And I do learn things. Godly wisdom's open to reason, to hear other people's arguments. Full of mercy and good fruits. Again, godly wisdom shows itself through a good life. You want to know someone's wise? Look at the life they're living. If the person you're calling for advice, if I'm saying, man, I need financial wisdom, I'm going to call my buddy who's been bankrupt 4 times. Brother, what do I do? Not the best phone call you're making. Your life reveals, do you really know what you're talking about? Do you actually have any clue what you're talking about? If I want financial wisdom, you know what I'm going to call? I'm going to call my self-made millionaire roommate from college. Because I think his life shows that he knows how to spend money. So I call him, I don't ask questions. Should I put money in my 401k? Yes, okay. But impartial. Godly wisdom isn't racist. It's not prejudice. I have watched, you know what we do? I'll do small. New England Patriots are a football team. A few years ago, they had this whole deflate gate where like the balls were not inflated all the way. I had friends from New England that were Patriot fans, and they would hear nothing because Tom Brady is the man. The NFL is just trying to get Tom Brady. They didn't do nothing wrong. They're not cheating at all. Because they refuse to see anything wrong with their own team. If your team messes up, man, that ain't right. If their team messes up, we're like, my team can't mess up. I see this in politics. I see it in religion. I see it all over the place. Dude, just this last week, a preacher, teacher, whose ministry shaped my mind and my life was exposed as a sexual predator. And I didn't want to believe it. I love this man. But the evidence came forward, and he's guilty. And part of me wants to go, who's a Christian, he's on my team, I'm going to ignore it and say he's innocent. I want to be partial. I want to close my eyes to someone's evil just because they're on my team. We cannot do that. If someone on our team is wrong, we got to say they're wrong. Someone in my family's wrong, I got to say they're wrong. I remember when I was young, I was a Christian in my high school. I was failing a class. My senior year. I was failing earth science. Woohoo! What happened was I was taking all these classes. Then I got accepted to college. They said, you're accepted. So I stopped going to all my classes. So I'm like, I'm going to college. I don't need A's anymore. So I just stopped going to school, which apparently you can't do. I'd go to school and go to the library, hang out all day. I don't know. I was a really bad kid. I was going to fail this class, and the teacher brought me up, and the teacher knew I led the Bible study. I was a preacher. I was going to Bible college, and he was a Christian too. So he brings me up, shows me my grade. It's like zeros and bad grades. And he looks at me, looks at the grades. He goes, shh, and gives me a C. I didn't deserve that C. I deserved an F. But he was partial to me because of Jesus. That's not godly wisdom. That's unfair, is what that was. I almost got pulled over for speeding when I was just learning to drive. I was in like some southern state, like Tennessee. Tony, I don't even remember this one. I was driving my stepfather's Cadillac. It pulled over, and I'm like, I'm on a permit. I'm driving too fast. I'm not very good at driving, so I'm weaving a little bit. I get pulled out of the car. I think I'm in Tennessee. I'm going to die out here on the side of the road. I'm wearing a Carmen t-shirt for my birthday party. I went to a Carmen concert. He's an old Christian musician, really cheesy, really awesome. And I was wearing a Carmen t-shirt. Like it was like Addicted to Love or something crazy like that. Maybe it was Riot. I don't know, one of my t-shirts from Carmen. And the cop brings me out, where he's talking to me, telling me what I did wrong. He goes, you know Carmen? And I was like, yes. He's like, how do you know Carmen? I'm like, I went there my birthday, a few months ago. He goes, Carmen loves Jesus. Do you love Jesus? I'm like, yes. He's like, go and get out of here. And he gave me the pass because I was a Christian. Now, I was glad to get the pass in that moment. I was. But godly wisdom, we're not partial to our team at the risk of being blind to evil. We're not. And listen, godly wisdom is also sincere. I used to have friends of mine who would argue a point just to be the devil's advocate, just for the fun of stirring the pot. That's not godly wisdom. If I'm going to talk to someone about a real issue, I got to be sincere and really mean it, not just being a jerk for the sake of winning an argument. Godly wisdom. Now, there's two wisdoms, okay? Earthly wisdom, unspiritual, demonic, is really motivated by the self. I want to look good. I want to win. I want to be exalted. Godly wisdom is about God. I want God to be glorified. I want God to be honored. I want my life to point to Him. It's not about me, it's about Him. Amen. Now, if that's you, what do these two paths lead to? Well, earthly wisdom, it says here, leads to disorder and every vile practice. If you're trying to be smart, if you're being smart for your own glory, it's gonna crush you. But if you're trying to be wise, to give God glory, it says, and a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. And a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace, which means very simply, what's the harvest of righteousness? Righteousness is a very funny word. It really just means a good life. Godly wisdom leads to a good life. I'll quote Jesus, who said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they should be called children of God." I want to end real quick in the book of Romans. Because the thing is this, we always say this phrase, you gotta fight fire with fire, right? It's part of it's in our lexicon. We talk this way. We think, if I call someone, let's say, Romans 16. Let's say, for example, this watch on my wrist. I love this watch. It was a gift to me the first day. Flint City's first Sunday, someone gave this watch to me as a gift. I wear it every single Sunday when I preach. It's from a company down in Detroit. I won't name their name because I won't get them in any trouble. Well, this watch has been broken for 3 years. It fogs up all the time. So the seal is broken, right? I've mailed it in 3 times. This is like a $500 watch. So they mail it in, comes back to me, still broken. So I email them, guys, it's been sent in 3 times, let's deal with this. They won't deal with it. I'm being nice, I'm being godly in how I'm dealing with them, and they're not taking care of it. And you know what I want to do? I want to get ungodly. I want to be a jerk on the phone and scream at someone until I get my way. Because sometimes, in this awful world, that works, don't it, sometimes? Sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Right but wrong. Listen to what Romans tells us to do. I go to Romans 12:14. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, you feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. For by doing so, you'll heap burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. We don't fight fire with fire. If someone we're talking to, if they get personal, we don't go personal back. If they lose their cool, we don't lose our cool back. Godly wisdom, how we talk, is how we talk, how we act on social media, how I talk on the phone, how I communicate reveals, am I going to be godly or earthly? If I choose to be earthly, my life will be marked with disorder. Yes. It'll be marked with all vile conduct. But if I choose instead to have godly wisdom, if I choose to overcome evil with good, I'm a peacemaker who's sowing peace. And apparently I will reap a good life. A lot of people see and they say, man, that's a true wise person. So who do you trust? Are you trustworthy? Are you trustworthy is the question. And the way to know if you're trustworthy is to measure yourself against this list of truth. So with that said, let us pray together. Father in heaven, I thank you so much for this time and this day. It's been a crazy morning. Father, To all those in this room who need a special touch of your grace, I ask you would please be present to them. To all those at home, minister to their souls as well. We love you very much, Jesus. And our desire is to be godly in our wisdom and not ungodly. We love you very much, Jesus. In Christ's name we ask these things. Amen.